What if everything you've been desperately searching for outside yourself has been inside you all along? This revelation completely shattered Rumi's worldview when he finally understood why he felt empty despite the decades of teaching others about spiritual fulfillment. The answer lay where he had never thought to look, and what he discovered in that moment of awakening might completely change how you see yourself. But first, let me ask you something. You've been trying so hard to become someone worthy of love, haven't you? Collecting achievements like armor, hoping they'll finally make you enough, chasing a version of yourself that always seems just out of reach. You're exhausted from this pursuit, and there's a reason why. Today, we live in a world obsessed with becoming successful, becoming happy, becoming spiritual, becoming better. But what if the very act of trying to become is what keeps us from recognizing what we already are? Rumi whispered this truth across centuries. You are not just the drop in the ocean, but the entire ocean. In each drop, close your eyes for a moment. Feel your breath. Notice how it happens without your effort, without your control. This breath that sustains your life, are you creating it? Or is it simply flowing through the vessel that you are? This is where our journey begins, not in the frantic search for something missing, but in the gentle recognition of what has never left. We have been taught to believe that we are fundamentally incomplete, that we must gather experiences, achievements, relationships, and possessions to fill some cosmic void within us. We scroll through social media, comparing our inner reality to others' curated highlights. We attend workshops and buy courses, hoping to finally unlock the secret to happiness. We measure our worth by our productivity, our likability, our success. But what if this entire premise is backwards? Rumi understood something profound about human nature. He wrote, "Your task is not to seek for love, but merely to seek and find all the barriers within yourself that you have built against it." Read that again, slowly. Your task is not to seek for love, but to find the barriers you have built against it. This changes everything. You're not trying to become lovable. You're not trying to become peaceful. You're not trying to become whole. You already are these things. The work is in removing what obscures this truth. Imagine a sculptor standing before a massive block of marble. Does she create David? Or does she simply remove everything that is not David? Michelangelo himself said that the statue already existed within the stone. He was simply freeing it from the excess. You are both the sculptor and the sculpture. The essence of who you are, peaceful, whole, luminous, already exists. What we call spiritual growth is actually spiritual archaeology. We are not building ourselves up. We are uncovering what was always there. Think about a moment in your life when you felt most yourself. Not when you were performing or achieving or impressing anyone, but when you were simply, authentically, you. Maybe it was watching a sunset, holding a loved one, or in a moment of deep laughter. In that moment, what were you trying to become? Nothing. You were simply being. That feeling, that sense of rightness, of coming home to yourself, that is not a peak experience to chase. That is your natural state, temporarily unobscured by the stories you tell yourself about who you should be. Rumi writes, "Stop acting so small. You are the universe in ecstatic motion." But we have learned to act small. We have learned to doubt our own wholeness. We have learned to seek outside ourselves for what can only be found within. The modern world amplifies this confusion. We are bombarded with messages telling us we need to be fixed, improved, upgraded. We are sold solutions to problems we didn't know we had. We are taught to measure our lives by metrics that have nothing to do with the deep peace that is our birthright. But here is what Rumi knew, and what mystics throughout time have recognized. The very seeking is what perpetuates the sense of lacking. Let me guide you through a simple recognition. Sit comfortably. Close your eyes. Notice the one who is aware of your breathing. Notice the one who is aware of your thoughts. Notice the one who is aware of your emotions, your sensations, your surroundings. This awareness, is it struggling? Is it incomplete? Is it seeking anything? Breathe into this recognition. This awareness that you are is not your thoughts about yourself. It is not your history, your achievements, your failures, your plans. It is the unchanging backdrop against which all experiences arise and pass away. This is what you are, not what you think about yourself, not what others think about you, but this pure awareness, this conscious presence that has been with you since your first breath and will be with you until your last. Rumi calls this the secret sky that is always present, whether there are clouds or clear weather. Your essential nature is like this sky, vast, open, unchanged by whatever appears within it. When you recognize this, something profound shifts. You stop trying to improve your awareness. You simply rest as it. You stop trying to find peace. You realize you are the very space in which both conflict and peace arise. You stop seeking love. You recognize yourself as the love you have been seeking. This recognition transforms how you move through daily life. Instead of asking, "How can I become happy?" you ask, "What am I believing about myself that obscures the joy that I am?" Instead of seeking validation from others, you validate your own experience from the unshakable ground of your being. When anxiety arises, instead of trying to fix it or escape it, you recognize anxiety as a cloud passing through the sky of your awareness. When sadness comes, you hold it with the same spacious presence. When joy appears, you don't grasp at it. You recognize it as your own nature expressing itself. This doesn't mean you become passive or stop growing, but your actions come from a fullness rather than emptiness. You engage with life not to complete yourself, but to express the completeness you already are. Rumi beautifully expresses this. Let yourself be silently drawn by the strange pull of what you really love. It will not lead you astray. When you know yourself as already whole, you naturally gravitate toward what serves not just your personal happiness, but the well-being of all life. Your unique gifts emerge not from ego, but from essence. Your relationships become expressions of love, rather than desperate attempts to be loved. In practical terms, this might mean starting your day not with a to-do list of how to improve yourself, but with a moment of recognition of what you already are. It might mean catching yourself in the story of not enough and gently returning to the felt sense of your inherent completeness. It might mean approaching challenges not as problems that prove your inadequacy, but as opportunities for your wholeness to express itself in new ways. It might mean treating your body, your emotions, your thoughts not as things to control or fix, but as sacred expressions of the one consciousness you are. This is the pathless path Rumi walked. This is the journey that requires no movement, the seeking that ends in finding what was never lost. As he wrote, "The universe is not outside of you. Look inside yourself. Everything that you want, you already are." What would your life look like if you truly believed this, not as a concept, but as a lived reality? What relationships would you cultivate? What work would you do? How would you treat your own precious heart? Pause here. Feel into these questions, not with your mind, but with your whole being. This is not about perfecting yourself or reaching some final, enlightened state. This is about coming home to what you have always been. This is about removing the learned barriers to your own natural radiance. Rumi's final invitation to us echoes across time. The only lasting beauty is the beauty of the heart. Your heart, not the physical organ, but the center of your being, is already beautiful, already perfect, already whole. The spiritual journey is simply the journey of remembering this truth and living from it. As you return to your daily life, carry this with you. You are not a problem to be solved. You are not a project to be completed. You are a mystery to be lived, a love to be expressed, a consciousness exploring itself through the beautiful, temporary form you call your life. Rest in this knowing. Let it breathe you. Let it live you. And whenever you forget, whenever the world convinces you that you are small and lacking and in need of a fixing, remember Rumi's words. You were born with wings. Why prefer to crawl through life? Your wings have always been there. You don't need to grow them. You only need to remember that they exist, spread them, and trust the sky that has always been your home. Breathe. Be still. You are already everything you seek. What barriers might you be ready to release? What would it feel like to live from the recognition of your own completeness? The journey home to yourself begins with a single recognition. You never left. Pause here. Let this settle into silence. Let it find its home in the stillness of your being. If this recognition touched something deep within you, if it reminded you of what you have always known but perhaps forgotten, you are not alone in this remembering. This is the pathless path we walk together, not towards something we lack, but back to what we have always been. Stay with us on this journey of awakening within. Each time we gather here, we create sacred space for these ancient truths to find new expression in our modern lives. Until we meet again in the silence between words, rest in the knowing of your own completeness. You are already home.